So, my dear students, so very good morning. And today we are going to discuss a new topic which is solid state. So, I think you have already completed this in your earlier classes, that is a solid state, liquid state, gaseous state. This is the one of the major chapter in the physical chemistry. So, what actually the solid state? So, you know that we will study the physical states of a matter by solid state, liquid state, gaseous state in different state. So now in your semester you are going to discuss the physical chemistry part. In that we will discuss the three types of physical states. Those are solid state, liquid state, and a gaseous state. So first of all we will discuss the solid state, then liquid state, and gaseous state. So now today we will going to discuss the introduction of the solid state, and we will go on to the our semester syllabus. So let us start from the solid state. What is solid, what is liquid, and what is gas? So you know that the first, what is chemistry here? So generally this solid state, liquid state, it comes under the physical chemistry. So what is actually the chemistry? You know that chemistry is the study of chemical reactions, study of chemical reactions, or study of whatever may be. So students, so listen here, what is actually the chemistry? So chemistry is nothing but the study of matter. You know that the study of whatever the matter, which by which we have to study the chemical properties, physical properties of a particular matter. So let us take human body. Human body is a particular matter. We will study what is particular the human body, what it is made up of, what type of chemicals it is made up of. Generally the proteins, DNA, nucleic acid, all those are the chemicals only. You can take the non-living things, those are the chair, wall, table, whatever may be. Generally the matter. So we will study about a particular matter and their physical properties and chemical properties. Generally, if we are studying the physical properties, then it comes under the physical chemistry part. If we are studying about the chemical properties, it comes under the organic chemistry part. So today we are going to discuss only the solid state. So this is very simple to understand and very easier and very small topic. So you can easily complete this also. So let us see one by one what is actually the solid state. So see here first. So what is actually the solid state? So generally, depending on the temperature, every substance will change it into solid state, liquid state, and gaseous state. You know that you can take the water molecule. So you can take the water molecule if there are the ice crystals like this. So if there are ice crystals like this. So on room temperature, so generally this ice melt into water. So it will converted into liquid. So finally, again, if you increase again temperature, it will convert it into water molecule. So first the water molecule, which is actually in solid phase, that is ice. So after a certain temperature, it converted into the liquid state. Again, after that, it converted into gaseous phase. That means depending on the temperature and pressure, so generally the physical states will change. So generally the solid state. So at lower temperature, generally the freezing will start. Generally solid phase will exist. So what is the reason behind the solid phase? You know that you can take the halogens. So you know that in the whole periodic table, what are the liquids? So generally, you know that the mercury is a liquid. So okay, forget this thing. So you can take simply fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. So think about these four halogens. So all the four halogen molecules, these four halogen molecules are actually they are present in a periodic table in a seventh actually sorry. So actually they are comes under the halogens. They are having their seven valency. And what is the physical property of this particular halogen? You know that the fluorine and chlorine, they are the gases. So they are gases. And this bromine is a solid. Sorry. It is a liquid. So sorry. The first fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. So first fluorine, chlorine, they are gases, and bromine which is liquid, and iodine which is solid. So you can take what is the reason behind this. So why the iodine is in liquid phase and bromine which is getting in the liquid phase and fluorine why they are getting in a gaseous phase in a room temperature. Generally in a room temperature it forms gaseous phase, liquid phase and solid phase. So what actually the reason behind this? So to explain a particular this states of matter, so we must understand a term which is van der Waal forces. Van der Waal forces. So what is van der Waal forces? I will tell you later. But you must understand what is the reason behind the physical states of a matter. So generally temperature is the first thing. It can depend by depending on the temperature. The solid phase may convert it into liquid, and liquid may convert it into gaseous phase. So generally, depending on the temperature, it will change. So temperature is one of the reason for the existence of the solid state, liquid phase, and gaseous phase. The second case, which is the van der Waals forces. What is van der Waals forces? So van der Waals forces are nothing but they are the force of attraction between each molecule. So or each atom. You can take the water molecule. Let us take water molecule. So in a particular beaker, so you can take the water molecule. So water, generally there are millions of water particles are there. So millions of water molecules each are having a particular intermolecular force of attraction. Those attraction is called van der Waals forces. So you can take either, you can take any whatever, maybe you can take hydrogen gas. So you can take hydrogen gas. So all the hydrogen gas, there are millions of molecule hydrogen gas. So whatever, maybe there must be a force of attraction between each molecule, which is called van der Waals forces. So we'll explain what actually the van der Waals forces. So look at here. So listen here. So first, what is van der Waals forces? So what is van der Waals forces? So what is actually van der Waals forces means? The intermolecular force of attraction between the molecules is called the van der Waals forces. So first, what actually I want to tell you that the interaction between the two atoms is called the bond. So bond is nothing but the interaction between the two atoms. So you can take the best example. You can take whatever may be the A and B. So the interaction between this A and B, this is called our bond. So what type of bond? How many bonds are there? Generally, you know that the bonds are which are ionic bond. Everyone you know that there is a ionic bond, and the second case which is covalent bond. Next, these are the major bonds which are available. Generally, you know particularly about these two bonds because in the earlier classes as intermediate, you can study this ionic bond and covalent bond. So there are also certain type of interactions. So actually there are metallic bond, dative bond, there are many other bonds. So general we will discuss here the ionic bond, covalent bond, and the third one which is hydrogen bonding, and the next one which is van der Waals forces. Van der Waals forces. So van der Waals force of interaction. So there are four types of bonds here. So why actually I want to tell you here. So the interaction between these two atoms. So you can take A and B. So the interaction between the two atoms, the interaction will be two types. So one is strong interactions and the second one is weak interaction. So what is strong interaction? Nothing but the force of attraction between the two atoms, which is very high in case of strong interactions. That is a weak means that is less attraction. So let us include in the strong interaction. So what type of bonds are there in the strong interactions? Generally, the ionic bonds are more stronger. Ionic bonds, they are more stronger comparing with the covalent bond. But covalent bonds are also one of the strongest interaction. So generally these ionic bonds and covalent bonds, they are included in the strong interaction. So remember that ionic bond, covalent bond, they are included in the strong interaction. So if the bond between A and B, if it is ionic bond and covalent bond, then definitely the interaction, the bond interaction varies, which is very, very strong. And to break that particular bond, we need more energy to break that particular bond. So in case of weak interactions, what are the weak interactions? The simple example which is hydrogen bonding. So this hydrogen bonding is very, very weak. And the next one which is van der Waals forces. Van der Waals forces. So these are very, very important here. So there are two types of interaction between any two atoms. The generally the two atoms will they can make a bond by making certain interactions. Those interactions are ionic bonds, covalent bonds, hydrogen bonds, or van der Waals force of attraction. So ionic bonds are they are very, very stronger comparing with the covalent bonds, and covalent bonds are also very, very strong, higher. They are having very much strong attraction comparing with the hydrogen bond. So you know that. So the bond dissociation energy here I have written here. Bond dissociation energy is nothing but the energy required to dissociate that particular bond. So the ionic bond is very, very strong bond. So that means we need the dissociation energy is very high. The energy required to remove the bond to break that particular ionic bond, we need more temperature. So more energy. Hence, generally the ionic compounds are having more melting points or boiling point. You know that comparing with the covalent bonds, covalent compounds, ionic compounds will have very, very high melting points and boiling point. because they are very, very strong comparing with the covalent bond. So here I have written the bond dissociation energy of them. So you can check here. So see here, the bond dissociation energies are there. So very simple here, the ionic bond which are the bond dissociation is greater than 600 kilojoules. This is 600 kilojoules. So that is very, very high. We need 600 kilojoules per mole. The very high amount of energy required to break this particular ionic bond. And after that, that is less than, that is 150 to 600 in between this. So 150 to 600 in between this, the covalent bond, the interaction covalent bond, they are comparing with the ionic bonds, they are weaker, but they are very, very stronger comparing with this hydrogen bond and van der Waals forces. So you can check here the hydrogen bonding, the bond in dissociation energy is which is 40 to 150 only, 40, 150. That means very, very less. And van der Waals forces is which is very less, as less than 8 kilojoules per mole. So generally the van der Waals forces are very, very less. The interactions, the attraction, the dissociation energy to break the van der Waals forces, which is only less than 8 kilojoules per mole. That means we need only less amount, that is 5 kilojoules, less than 8 kilojoules per mole energy is needed to break the van der Waals forces. So by that you can easily understand that the van der Waals forces are very, very weaker comparing with the all those bonds. So generally there must be a van der Waals forces between each atoms or each molecules, each ions. I will explain you what type of van der Waals forces are there, but you must understand one thing here, that the stronger interactions are ionic bonds, after that covalent bonds, then hydrogen bonds, and the van der Waals forces. So now we will discuss the van der Waals forces. So what type of van der Waals forces are there? So generally the van der Waals forces are classified into many types like this. So they are classified into, actually they are classified into 5 types. So you can check that. So ion dipole interaction, the first one, the second one which is dipole dipole interactions, and the third one which is ion induced dipole interactions, and the fourth one which is dipole induced dipole interactions. Next one, instantaneous dipole induced dipole interactions. So these are the 4 examples. So you must understand, sir, these are the 5 classifications you must understand here. So let us understand here this also. So very simple, the first one which is ion dipole interaction. So what actually you need here? So I want actually what type of van der Waals forces existed between the two atoms or two molecules. So first you should understand here. So what type of van der Waals forces? In between what? So in between what? So here there is a ion, there is a dipole. So the interaction is between an ion and between a dipole. So what is actually the dipole? So dipole. Pole is nothing but the charges like positive charge, negative charge. Di means two charges, one is positive charge, one is negative charge. Dipole means something, any molecule, that is H plus OH minus. So it is a dipole. Na plus Cl minus, it is a dipole. Whatever may be, you can take any such example, MgCl2, Mg plus 2 Cl2. So that is two chloride minus ions are there. So generally these are the ionic parts. They are having the charges, one positive charge and negative charge. They are called dipoles. And the ion means nothing but the cation or anion. So this is an ion, anion. So this is an anion. So it is a particular cation. This is anion. So they are the cations and anions. But dipole means it is only one compound which must have a positive charge and negative charge. So you can understand, see here. So we need to study the van der Waals force of attraction between an ion and a dipole. So you can check here the ion which is sodium plus and which is connected with these, all they combined with all the water molecule like this. So I have written first here ion and dipole. Ion, what is ion here? So Na plus. Na plus is an ion. Na plus is an ion. It is combined with a water molecule like this. OH2, OH2, OH2. So there is a lone pair on the oxygen atom. So there is a lone pair, so that they can easily, they can have the interaction with this sodium atom like this. So the interaction between this ion and the dipole, so which is called the ion dipole interaction. This is also one of the van der Waals force of attraction. And the next one, dipole dipole interaction. So there is a dipole dipole interaction. So dipole dipole interaction. So both are the dipoles only. So both are dipoles only. So you can check here, you can easily understand here. So what is actually here? So dipole dipole. This is also one of the dipole. This is also one of the dipole. So very simple. HCl is a dipole. HCl is a dipole. You know that hydrogen which is H plus and Cl minus. That's it. So you can easily understand that what is actually HCl. HCl is nothing but it is an acid. It must donate a proton. So here H plus Cl minus. It means that see this hydrogen. So remember one thing, H, 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 H plus. How many electrons in H plus, H minus? So how many electrons are there in hydrogen? You know that the atomic number is 1. So the number of electrons in the hydrogen is 1. How many electrons in the H plus? Plus is nothing but the loss of electron. Remember the plus, which is a cation, that is loss of one electron. Loss of one electron. So it is losing its one electron. So the electron number of electrons in a proton H plus, which is 0. H minus means nothing but gaining of electron, gaining of one electron. So that means it gains one electron. Actually it is having one, but it is gaining one extra electron. So that is, it is having two electrons. So you should understand here that H plus means there is no electrons in the hydrogen. So H plus will be eliminated like this. So that you should understand here. So H plus will be eliminated like this, and the Cl minus will eliminate like this. So remember one thing here, Cl minus, that means it need one electron. So this is one of its electron, and this is the extra electron. It can accepted by this Cl, and it forms Cl minus, it will eliminate it. And you know that this particular HCl is a dipole. So this is a dipole because H plus Cl minus, H plus Cl minus. There are two dipoles are there. There are the charges for those two molecules. So you can check here. So the bond between the dipole here H plus Cl minus, the interaction is possible between this Cl minus and H plus. And you can take any other molecule, again it forms the bond like this. So again it make a interaction with the again HCl. So why, what is the reason why one chlorine is reacting, why a Cl minus is not reacting with another Cl minus? Because both are anions. So we must understand one thing here, that always a negative charge will attract towards a positive charge. Positive charge will attract towards a negative charge. So always negative means excess of electrons. Positive means lesser number of electrons. So this Cl minus, which is having one extra electron. Why? Because it is gaining one of the electron from this hydrogen. From this hydrogen, it is gaining one of the electrons. So it is having excess of electron. So it always tries to, it will always tries to give its electron to any other electron deficient atom. So you can check here. So you can easily understand that this H plus is, there is no electrons in this proton. So here this Cl minus, it is having an extra electron. So there must be a possibility to interact with this H plus. So the bond, the interaction, which is called dipole-dipole interaction. So you can check many other examples like this. So see here, ion dipole induced interaction. So what is ion induced dipole interactions? Ion induced dipole interaction. So what actually it means? There is an ion and the interaction between that ion and a non-polar molecule. So actually here you should understand here, induced dipole. Induced is, what is actually induced dipole? There is, you have already studied the inductive effect. So what is actually inductive effect? So induced అంటే ఏమంటాం పక్కదాన్ని ప్రేరేపించడం అనమాట, పక్కదానికి ఇవ్వడం అనమాట. ఇండ్యూస్డ్, పక్కదానికి ఇస్తే దాన్ని ఇండక్షన్ అంటాం నాన్న, ఇండ్యూస్ చేయడం అంట. ఇండ్యూస్డ్ డైపోల్, that means actually a particular molecule which is not a dipole, but it is getting dipole with the another whatever the charged species. So see here the hydrogen and O2. So you can check here H2, H2, N2, Cl2, O2. So all these four I have written, these are their non-polar molecule. Non-polar molecule. There is no generation of any charges, because there is no electronegativity difference between those two atoms, hydrogen. So there is no electronegativity difference. So there is no development, there is no generation of any positive charges or negative charges. So what kind of the bond between that, which is generally the non-polar bonds, are covalent bonds. They are perfectly pure covalent compound. So but there is no dipolement on that particular molecule. But even though it is getting certain small amount of dipole moment, whenever ion, that is you can check here the bromine minus and Na plus, it comes nearer to this proton like this. So you can check here, you can easily understand here, actually this H2 and O2, H2 and O2, they are pure non-polar covalent. So non-polar because there is no generation of charges on each atom. But whenever this bromine comes to here, so it is having a negative charge. So it always tries to give its electron. So it always tries to give its electron because it is having the negative charge. So whenever it is tries to give its electron, so it must accept. One of the hydrogen should accept. So one of the hydrogen should accept must means, so this bromine minus, whenever it is giving electron to this one of the hydrogen, so this hydrogen must lose one electron. Hence this particular hydrogen will lose one of the electron to give electron to this hydrogen. So generally this hydrogen, it will make certain type of interaction with this bromine minus. Actually these are not that much strong interactions, they are very very weak interaction, but there must be a very very small interaction also there. We have to consider this interaction also, because this type of interaction will decide the particular physical state of a matter. So let us in a specific, you can take any particular molecule, it can behave as a solid or gas or a liquid. So it depends on only the two factors, one is temperature, pressure, and the second case which is the dipole moment. So whenever the whatever the interactions, those are the intermolecular force of attraction, which are van der Waals forces. Hence only we are considering all these interactions. So the next case you can check here, what is the next case here? So the dipole interactions, dipole induced interactions. So what is dipole induced interactions here? So dipole induced interactions here means, so dipole induced, that means there is an interaction with a dipole, and there is not a purely dipole compound. There is a not particularly, there is no dipole moment particularly compound. You can check here, this is a dipole. So high HCl is a particularly, it is having a certain dipole, because hydrogen which is less electronegativity is more electronegativity. So it is getting generally the charges which is partial positive charge and the negative charge. So it is generally, you can take it is a dipole moment. So but in case of the Cl2, just now only I told you O2, N2, H2, Br2, they are particularly, they are non-polar, they are covalent, they are not having any dipole moment. But even though they will generate the dipole moment because of this dipole. So this dipole will induce its dipole on this particular non-polar covalent compound. So that you should remember. Once again I am telling, polar is nothing but the development of charges, which is called ionic compounds. And the second case, which is non-polar nothing but there is no generation of charges. There is no charges. That means the bond which is covalent compound, covalent compounds. So that you should remember this. So this Cl2, actually it is a pure perfectly non-polar compound. It is a pure covalent compound because there is no generation of any charges actually. So why? Because this is chlorine and this is chlorine. There is no charges. So but even though it is getting charges because of this dipole, so this dipole, this HCl will induce its dipole on this particular Cl2. Hence the interaction is called the dipole induced dipole interaction. So the next case, second case, the last case you can check here. So the last case you can check here, the instantaneous dipole induced dipole interaction. So instantaneous dipole and induced dipole interaction. Instantaneous dipole or induced dipole interaction means there is no particular dipole moment. So actually, originally there is no dipole moment. So you can take the interaction between the two hydrogens. So you can take, I will take a beaker. So generally you can take any, whatever maybe, you can take any, the gases particularly, you can take any gas cylinder. So I will take the H2 molecule, the gases. They are perfectly, they are pure covalent compound. They are non-polar molecule. So there is no generation of any charges, generally H plus H minus. But there will be an interaction between even those two hydrogen molecules, H2 and H2. There is interaction between these two molecules, which is called instantaneous dipole or induced dipole interaction. So actually there is no dipole moment, there is no dipole on that particular hydrogen molecule, but it is getting the dipole instantaneously. Instantaneously means suddenly it is having certain amount of charges. So how I will explain you. So you can understand here. I will take certainly first. So I will take here two hydrogen molecules. So see here. So see here. So first I will take any two hydrogen molecule. This is one of the hydrogen molecule, and I will take this is another hydrogen molecule. So this particularly, this is whole cylinder like this. So the H2 is a gas and H2 is a gas. So there will be an interaction between these two gas. So generally hydrogen, it is having, I will take, this is a particularly, this is a molecule. It is not an atom, it is a molecule. And this hydrogen, which is also a molecule. So the electrons are present in the molecular orbitals. Electrons are present in the molecular orbital. You know that the sigma bonding molecular orbital, anti-bonding molecular orbital. So the electrons are present in the bonding molecular orbital. So if they are having the intermolecular force of attraction between these two atoms, if they are having the intermolecular force of attraction between the two atoms, it means that there is no negative charge on the both sides. Okay, అంటే దాని అర్థం ఏం లేదు నాన్న, వీటి మధ్య ఇంటరాక్షన్ ఉంది అని అంటే, if it is having certain interaction between those two hydrogen atoms, there must be no interaction of any electron on both sides. అంటే ఇక్కడ మైనస్ ఉంది అనుకోండి, ఇంటరాక్షన్ ఎలా అవుతుంది? కాదు, 100% కాదు. మరి ఎలా పాసిబుల్ అవుతుంది అంటే, వెరీ సింపుల్. సో దిస్ హైడ్రోజన్, సో ఇట్ ఈస్ అ మాలిక్యూల్, అండ్ దిస్ హైడ్రోజన్, దిస్ is also another molecule. Molecule means definitely there must be an electrons any other some place. So you can take here, let us take, I will take here, the electrons are present here. So these are the electrons. So I will take here, sorry. So I will take here first the electron. So here this is the first electron here. So these are the electrons. So these are the electrons. So you can understand here. So the position of electrons here, that means the negative charge, the electronic cloud, the negative charge here. So that means exactly the opposite side, there must be a positive charge. So here there is a efficiency of electron, means on the opposite side definitely there will be a positive charge, that is electron deficiency only. So you can easily understand here. So wherever the electron deficiency is there, definitely the opposite side with the electron efficiency will be there. అంతేనా? ఇప్పుడు ఒకవేళ ఇక్కడ ఉంది అనుకో పాజిటివ్ ఛార్జ్, అక్కడ ఉండదు, ఇట్ కెన్ ఈజీలీ గ్రాప్ ద ఎలక్ట్రాన్ ఫ్రమ్ దిస్ నెగిటివ్ ఛార్జ్. ఒకవేళ ఇక్కడ పాజిటివ్ ఛార్జ్ ఉంది అనుకున్నాను, ఏముందని అక్కడ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ ఇక్కడ ఇచ్చేస్తాయి కదా, ఏముంది? సో అదే ఆపోజిట్ ఉన్నాయి అనుకోండి, సో ఆపోజిట్ ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ అక్కడికి ఇవ్వలేవు. సో జనరల్లీ where whatever the position, so electrons will be there like this, negative charge, negative charge, negative charge. Definitely the opposite, the generation of positive charge, the positive charge will be generated here. So definitely this hydrogen molecule also they will generate like this. So that you should remember one thing here. So this is a particularly hydrogen, and this is a particularly hydrogen, and for this particularly, if it is having a negative charge on left side, then definitely it must have a positive charge on the right side. So definitely there must be a negative charge on the left side and positive charge on the right side. So they can easily interact like this. So this interaction is called instantaneous or induced dipole interaction, and they are also called London dispersion forces. London dispersion forces. Dispersion forces, very very important here. So the London has actually, he is a scientist, so he has given this London dispersion forces are instantaneous dipole or induced dipole interaction. So that you should remember that. So these are very very important. These are the five types of the five types of interactions. They are the intermolecular force of attraction, that is the van der Waals forces. So here I will tell you the examples, so you can easily remember in the future also. So see here. So these things you should remember. So the van der Waals forces actually they are directly relation with the molecular weight, and they are directly relation with the boiling point, and generally they are directly with the surface area, and they are directly with the bond polarity. So these four are very very important. So I will take the fluorine, bromine, iodine. So which is having more molecular weight? So definitely you know that the molecular weight generally the iodine which is having more molecular weight comparing with the fluorine, because the fluorine, so you know that it is the first period, sorry, it is the second period actually, this is third period, this is fourth period, this is fifth period. So that means it is very lower, so it is in the fifth orbit. So the molecular weight is very very high here. So the molecular weight, so which is very less for the fluorine. So you have to consider here that the molecular weight of the iodine is more. So here this is the van der Waals forces are directly relation with the molecular weight. That means, so this van der Waals forces, if they will increase whenever the molecular weight is very high. So the iodine, which is having very high molecular weight, so generally the molecular weight is high, the van der Waals forces are high. So the force of attraction between one iodine molecule with another molecule which is very high, comparing with this bromine, chlorine, fluorine. Hence, this particular iodine, which is particularly it exists as a solid phase in a room temperature. So generally this iodine, you can see here, this is a solid, and bromine, which is liquid, and fluorine, chlorine, they are the gases. So why they are gases? Because they are having very weak interactions. So that is weak van der Waals forces. The strong van der Waals forces are only in between the iodine. Hence it exists as a solid phase. So these are all such example. You may read all these things. So I will tell you that in the next class also, but you can study all these things. So we will study the crystallography in the next session. Thank you for this.